Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have another brand new thing that Sony themselves are being worked on as of right this second. Now, as you guys may have seen throughout these past 2 days or so, we've actually been seeing a lot of big patent leaks. We've been seeing a lot more new information. We've been seeing a lot more kind of basically these companies that are kind of trying to find and fine-tune and patent, get kind of like a lot of cool gaming systems for their consoles, for the user base or whatever it may be. So before it was a lot on the PlayStation 3, whether it's through emulation or as well whether it's just for general usability on hardware. But this is a very, very big intriguing thing where basically now Sony is trying to predict the future on the PlayStation 5 console, and they're now throwing in a what-if scenario. Now, that might be kind of hard to explain, but I'm going to try my best to go and talk about it when it comes to games, multiplayer games, and everything else, so we will in a second. So, hope you guys will enjoy the video. As well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, we have the Amazon links down below for all the sign-up links. Make sure you guys check those on out. We've had actually a lot of people getting their Target links too as well, so check on your local area and the Target down below. Twitter and Twitch stream as well if you guys want to follow. We'd love to have you guys there. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. PS5 giveaway, restock news, and all that on the channel itself. So, let's go talk about this. So we have a pretty cool thing over here from PlayStation Lifestyle where this is actually kind of a cool idea. Now, I'm not sure how much I would personally use this, or I'm also not really sure how much I would actually like this at the end of the day, but this is kind of cool. So once again on the patent streak, where we're seeing patents nonstop over and over and over again from Sony themselves, Sony patents gameplay replay system that now presents what-if scenarios. So there's going to be three major things that could be coming from this that I'm going to talk about here. All three of them are something that, in my mind, pretty cool. So, Sony Interactive Entertainment has now patented an interesting PlayStation 5 gameplay replay system that presents what-if scenarios to players who are interested in finding out what the outcome of their actions would be if they had chosen to do something different. So basically, lack of better terms, game was like, hey, you should go left, you decided to go right, maybe you fall off a cliff, it's not good. So then the game would give you a chance to go and see, hey, what would have happened if you guys would have just chose the left, stuff like that. So we're going to talk about it a little bit more because it seems kind of cool in theory. So the patent, which has actually been spotted by OP Attack, doesn't mention competitive gaming, but the examples provided in the application seem to suggest that this gameplay replay system was designed first and foremost for esports in mind, although as well, I could see a lot of this stuff actually happening too as well for single-player games, and there's all kind of no reason why it wouldn't. How the PlayStation 5 gameplay replay system would work. Sony used the example of an Olympic skiing game, which is funny enough, in its application, where a player partaking in a half-pipe competition was unsuccessful in a particular segment. Based on the player data available, an AI module will then actually generate a what-if scenario for that player and show them what they could have done differently for a different outcome. In this example, Sony mentioned different ski equipment that was not previously used by the user, e.g. like hard snow skis, frontside skis, high-performance boots, short ski poles, etc. So what I'm kind of getting off of this one, so a few different things. Let's go put it on the single-player aspect first. So let's go and say hypothetically you're using this type of system, and let's say you're playing, say, Elden Ring. Now, I think this would be kind of an intriguing system. You guys can leave your thoughts down below. Imagine, let's say you have a boss, and you could have parried. Or as well, maybe you could have dodge roll, or maybe you would have hit the boss one more time, and it would have maybe shown what they would have done, how the boss would have played out, maybe even using a somewhat AI of what your usual gameplay was. I think we've actually been seeing a lot more of those games, and even if you guys think about it, Elden Ring is a very good example, because they have the Mimic, where basically they go and kind of copy your playstyle and copy what you do, and some games out there basically are getting somewhat good and knowing how your character would play. Good examples let's say you're a big dodge roller in games, so basically the game would know. Let's say you're more of a person, maybe you're playing on Overwatch. You shoot 10 times, and then after that, you reload. So basically the game can kind of pick up on these habits, find averages, find movements, find the likelihood of you using a certain ability, likelihood, say in Elden Ring, of you dodging, of you healing, of you moving, or whatever, parrying, and can kind of basically use a somewhat AI system to see. This as well can maybe be a good example too as well on maybe, let's say, like an Until Dawn type style game, or The Quarry more recently, where you can have a chance to go and say like, hey, you usually would have picked this, or you messed up with the buttons, this is what would have happened, or this is how your game would have been done. Which in theory, for single player games, I can see that being kind of cool, more so for games who just want to utilize it or whatever. Maybe as well, maybe even give you small subtle hints. There's always a possibility. So their patent actually reads itself. And don't forget, they are kind of assuming this is more for competitive, which we'll touch on in a second. Methods and systems are provided for generating an outcome of a previous gameplay. The method includes providing access of a recording of the previous gameplay. The recording is one that was shared by a player for the previous gameplay. The method includes providing an interface that identifies one or more what-if scenarios for the previous gameplay. The one or more what-if scenarios being selected for inclusion into the interface is based on processing the recording of the previous gameplay through a machine learning model to identify what-if scenarios for the user. And options for what-if scenarios are provided to the interface. The method includes enabling the selection of at least one of the what-if scenarios from the options. The selection causes an adjustment to metadata associated with the recording of a previous gameplay. The method includes replaying the recording that was selected using the adjustment metadata to generate the alternate outcome of the previous gameplay. Is anyone else somewhat confused, because that wording is probably the strangest line of words I have probably almost have ever seen in my entire life. It's like the selection causes adjustments where metadata associated with other adjustments with your gameplay, with previous gameplay, by also using future gameplay, by picking recording gameplay of your adjusted gameplay with your adjusted metadata. You're like, okay, am I talking to an AI cyber, like cyber lawyer at this point? What's going on here? But what I think they're trying to go and do is, maybe because, as you guys know, Sony has been investing into esports and into their own esports ecosystem. They actually have their own tournaments. They have a bunch of various things out there. Like, they have like money invested. They have esports teams. I think they've done Mortal Kombat tournaments. Like, they've worked in a lot of these various basically esports pushes. And as well as you guys know, esports in general are usually paying out pretty good. Rocket League, League of Legends, Overwatch, Apex, whatever it may be, they give out a lot of money. So what I think this is more so going to be used for, as I mentioned, for single player, maybe to help you out for a single player game on which options you should pick and what options you should go for. Or as well, if you would have chosen a certain right path, or if you would have been the boss, what would have happened? Or maybe also, as I mentioned, maybe for potential helpful tips for indie game developers or AAA game developers to kind of help you out, where it's like, hey, maybe you should try this, but like maybe trying to more allude towards it. I can see that being a very cool feature in helpfulness for people trying to get back into a single player game, or as whatever. Part 2 for competitive. It also makes a lot of sense too, because even for them, they have like, a nice little Overwatch picture. Maybe in theory, they could also go and run specific statistics. So as you guys know, certain games, you have maybe just better weaponry. So maybe you could have had something replayed. Let's say maybe you had upgrades. Maybe you had level ups. Maybe you had a different, maybe you hit your shots, Maybe you would have had a different character. Whatever it may be, this would actually maybe be a cool sign. I think especially for, say, some competitive signs on, say, Twitch or YouTube streams or whatever, because it kind of lets then folks go and see what's going on. It kind of lets people have a chance to go and be like, okay, I could have maybe won this, or if I would have gotten a better weapon, or if I would have upgraded my character more, or if I would have did this, this, or this. And as well, maybe for tournament scenes, maybe could allow folks to go and be like, well, if, say, like this number 2 player who just lost would have maybe done this combo, or maybe they would have done this in game or done this option instead, maybe they would have been okay. But at the end of the day, we're not really necessarily sure, because patents are still patents, but this does kind of go and bode to an intriguing thing, because it does always kind of align with the fact that Sony wants to push more into the esports, and they want to invest more into esports, and spend money on these games in general. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts. Like, is this something you guys would like? I'm kind of indifferent / maybe don't even like this, because if I'm playing a game, what if it spoils you? Or it's like, sometimes you don't really want to know, maybe you guys would agree, on what could have happened. Sometimes you don't want to know. Sometimes you want to figure it out still on yourself. Or let's say if you're a competitive esports player, maybe at the end of the day, you don't want to know what have happened, because it didn't happen. You didn't win the tournament, or you didn't win your match. You got disqualified, or maybe you got eliminated, either or. So it's kind of a weird, touchy thing, but it's always cool to see new patents. It's always kind of cool to see what they're working on in the future, and what also might be introduced into our consoles themselves. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for all the signups, Xboxes too, Twitter and Twitch streaming. Make sure you guys got them notifications on for more good old videos, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.